Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Real Play Podcast. This is Sierra.
Hi, it's Ebony.
And today we have a special guest, Janice Bradford, my soror, my friend. We have brought her on today to talk about something that everybody nowadays have at least thought about at least once or twice. Leaving their job and being an entrepreneur and making their own money and waking up when they feel like waking up. She is history in the making. Before I have her introduce herself, I just want to do a shout out because if y'all didn't know, she did our makeup for our pictures
Oh
for the
yeah.
real play. So when you see anything you see that has us out there right now with our white t-shirts on or whatever, she did our faces. Our face was beat. It was still dark when we got to her house. I was like, Lord, I gotta get up early. Like I'll never get up that early. It was dark when we got there. Was it dark when we left?
I think so.
I think it was still dark when we left.
That was
But
the early
my
morning
face was
call.
beat. My eyelashes, I was really afraid when you was doing my eyebrows. I was like, Lord, I can't have nobody mess up my eyebrows. But I felt beautiful when I left. So thank you for having us prepped and ready for my first ever photo shoot. Was it your first one, Ebony?
Yeah, and I went out that day everywhere that I could probably go because my makeup was lunch right after.
Someone's gonna see this makeup outside of these pictures.
I found somewhere to go.
I was tired. I went to sleep. I came home and went to sleep. I'm not used to getting up that early. But sorry, that that just popped to my head. I wasn't even gonna do that at first, but I just thought about it. So let's go back. Janice Bradford, you are here. Thank you for coming to the Real Play. And I'm gonna give you a quick second to introduce yourself before we jump into this topic. So
Hi,
let the people
ladies.
know.
So I am a makeup artist of 11, 12 years. I've been doing lace wigs for a little over 17 years, entrepreneur. I'm just doing what God has given me the abilities to do and using my talents so he won't take them away.
Yes. It's good to be in an area of something that you know your heart is in. Like you get up and you do what you want to do and it's your passion. So I commend you on that because contracting is not my passion. It's my bill paying method right now. So I haven't jumped out into that ocean, it seems like, of the unknown, but you did years ago. So tell us your story of how you went from working 9 to 5 to doing what you do now.
Can I ask for you to say another thing too? I want to know, like, how did you know what you're doing now is something that
I
you.
was just about to say that. Yeah. So how I really got into what I wanted to do, I kind of reverted back to my childhood, like what makes me happy. But I will say how I got into it is because I was unhappy. So I was in that moment of working. I was an investigator, federal government, 9 to 5. Everybody's excited. You got a federal government job right out of college. Like most people will only dream of that. And I was unhappy. It's not that I was unhappy in my career, but I didn't see life. Like I didn't see my ability to just be carefree and be a creative. And when I reverted back to my childhood, I noticed that's what I love the most. I love creating. And honestly, falling into makeup wasn't something that somebody took me underneath their wing and saying, oh, let's see if you like makeup. I just kind of was just dibbling and dabbling in different things. And I started, this will be funny, but I started, you know how you do the career quizzes online and see like
Right.
where you fall, what's your most passion. And it was like creative, but it was never like this type of makeup. I went to LA and I wanted to do special effects makeup. So that's where I initially started. And I was like, ooh, I can turn somebody into a monster, or I can do this, I can do that, because I was always really good at drawing. And that skill set has left me. And that's why I started off in saying, I don't want God to take my talents away and my abilities away, because I can literally used to, as a child, to sit outside, see something, come back inside and draw exactly what I just saw.
Wow.
To
That's
a
talent.
detail. And I can't do that now. But what I can do is look at a face, sculpted out in a way that can not make you look like somebody else, but make you look like the best of your abilities. So that's kind of like where it started. It really started with me being unhappy and just finding where my happiness lies. And it's really going into that place of picking up a makeup brush and really feeling like fulfilled.
Right. Mm. Mm. Especially like, I mean, that was a lot. I mean, how old were you when you had this
So
epiphany?
I
Like, I'm
got
not
the
happy.
job because I was only there for a year, like a year and a half. So I got the job maybe straight out of college. How old are you? About 21, 21, 22,
I think I was
maybe?
23, 22, 23,
Well,
depending
I was
on
the
your
early
birthday. Yeah,
bloomer.
depending
Like
on
I
your
started
birthday.
school early. So
I started
I
school
was
late, October baby. It
so
got me.
probably like 21, 22,
Mm-hmm.
graduating. So I would say I was around, it had to be 24. But I will say, I used to do all the makeup for school and college for like fashion. We had a fashion with like runway fashion, couture, club or whatever. And I was the one that was doing the makeup, not even thinking at that time that I would become a makeup artist. I was doing makeup for everybody. I was doing hair for all the guys that wanted to come get their hair braided. I was curling the girls' hair. Like it just, I think sometimes you don't know that you're already in the place of where God wants to take you until you actually look back on the things that you was doing. So I was doing that stuff. People would come to me, can you do my makeup? Because I'm modeling in this. And I end up joining the club. It was called Couture. I ended up joining that club, but I was poetry. Like I did poetry and spoken word. But for the models that was in it, I was doing their makeup.
So you're
With
really
probably like one foundation. Everybody was getting the same foundation.
One look.
One look, one makeup palette. Like just looking back on the journey, it's just I kind of really started there.
It's so funny how sometimes we're, like you said, we're around our gifts and we may be using them, but in a small capacity. And then, something might hit. And one thing that I like is that you didn't really know what you wanted to do, but instead you just kind of did a little bit of here, did a little bit there, say, okay, well, I might not like this as much. Let me move on to that. You didn't let the fact that you just, want to do this one thing stop you.
And that's when I told my dad, I remember we were driving into work together because we worked in the same building, but for different departments. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, these people literally look like zombies walking to work, going, you get a break at 1 p.m., 12 o'clock to go to lunch. You go here, you going back, or you might go for a smoke break or something like that. It's just like, they're not really living life. And then they go home, they're so tired, they're either dealing with their family, and then they wake up and do it all over again. And some people, I will say, that work 9 to 5, they love their jobs. Like they can't see themselves doing anything else. But I think when you're in that moment where you're unsure if this is what you want to do, or two, you really just hate what you do. If you can, and I'm not saying everybody should take that leap of faith or whatever, if you can and you position yourself, try it. Like if you fail, you fail. A failure is only a lesson learned. So, and it doesn't mean that you won't end up doing it. It just means you have to take a different trail or route to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, and the older you get, you realize that the things that you thought would bring you happiness actually don't. And it's also, I want to know what your dad said when you said that you hated your job, because a lot of times we sometimes look at our parents for advice or friends, and they're like, girl, you crazy, you got this good job, you making all of this money.
And those was the exact words.
Wow. But our parents are from a very different generation. Is when you work hard and you stay at your job. I stay at my job until I retire, but we are like, absolutely not. I'm unhappy now. I don't want to wait until I'm 60 and say, now you can be happy.
Right.
And I had to learn that. And I think I really came to that understanding probably maybe like last year, where I had to learn where my grandmother generation was, where my dad generation grew from, and then where our generation is now growing to. And then now we look at the generation after us, we was like, how you gonna make a living on social media? But these kids are making millions of dollars. So our mindset is the same thing as our parents saying, what do you mean you ain't getting a good government job? We were like, because there's something better. You can't see it because you're not in that generation. Just like we can't see dropping everything that we doing and going to go make TikToks. But these kids are making a killing. But that day that we was driving into work and he was like, so what are you going to do? And my exact words was, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. And when I came to him and started talking about makeup, he was like, I mean, that's a hobby. What's your job? And I was like, I wanted to go to LA. Like, I looked up this school and they offer like a year of learning and you can do this and that. And he was like, I'm not paying for no more schooling. Like, if you find a way to do it, then you can go do it. And I just end up at that same time, we already had a trip planned, me and my girlfriend, to go to LA. But I just set up some meetings just to go visit some schools and just to see what the opportunity could lie. And I end up coming back. We spent, I think, 2 weeks in LA. I came back and I was like, okay, you know, you get a little ahead of yourself when you trying to reach goals. And it's just like, my dad's kind of right. Like, I can't just take this leap of faith and do makeup full time. Like, maybe go to like a program that's 6 weeks and see if I even like it first, because it could be something that I don't even like. So I did that. I went to Bennett Career Institute, got my certification program, met my mentor, and it was just kept on uphill ladder climbing from there. And I just completely just loved it. And it was challenging, yes, but I just loved the journey itself.
Wow, that was actually going to be my kind of point to something I'm learning, is to try a little bit here, try a little bit there. And then, I mean, as an adult, quitting your job is like your livelihood. Like, this is how I make my money. I pay my bills. If I don't have a job, I don't eat. I have nowhere to lay my head. So, you know, I don't know about jumping out the window and quitting tomorrow, but, you know, just baby steps.
But what I told somebody else too, I was grateful enough to be still living at my parents' house. I was grateful enough to, yes, they said, what are you going to do? That's a hobby. But they always supported my dream. Like, whatever I wanted to do, they always supported it. So once my father saw me grinding, getting up at 4:00 in the morning to drive 2 hours away to do a wedding that paid little to nothing, he started to look at me and was like, okay, like, this might be something, and however I can support you, I would support you. Girl, he would come home with like Q-tips and those, you know, those old little eyeshadow brushes that be in like the little palettes. He'd be like, can you use this? And I just be like, bruh. But
he tried.
Exactly. I felt the support, and that's all a child needs. But I had that. Everybody don't have that opportunity to not pay bills, to maybe only worry about your cell phone bill, and just really think about growing your dream. And I had that support system.
That is so good. So you had the support from your parents, your family, and then you also mentioned that you had a mentor. So can you tell us how you met this mentor, and are you still using the same one that you started with, 19 years ago?
So she's no longer in makeup.
Okay.
But she went off and started doing her own thing. She was my teacher at Bennett.
Okay.
And when we were at Bennett Career Institute, I kind of just got underneath her wing, and she was just like, maybe I'll bring you on to when I do a bridal person, or if she couldn't do it, she felt comfortable enough to send me on to do the bridal party or things like that. And we always just talk. Like, we might have went to the makeup shows together. She taught me different techniques. And we also had a love for crabs. So we would just sit around and eat crabs together. And she actually, now we just call each other god sister. But she doesn't do makeup anymore. Every time somebody calls her now, she'd be like, my god sister probably do it. But sis, my makeup bag is packed up and packed away with a lock on it. But she really molded where I wanted to go into makeup. Mm-hmm. And because I did want to do special effects, and she kind of pushed me more into like the everyday woman, bridal, clean cut makeup. And once I found out like how much money clean cut makeup was, I was like, okay, like this is something.
How much is that industry? Like, I know the beauty industry as a whole is $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to makeup artists themselves, like, now I know there's a lot of makeup artists that travel, and you see the Real Housewives show. They got one sitting in there in their bathroom doing their makeup. Like, how much can a really top paid makeup artist make nowadays?
6 figures.
6 figures easy. Wow.
Especially social media, and social media really does help people as long as it's just your own pictures. Because I've seen some people, they be posting
and not overly filtered, but people think
their pictures, they steal pictures.
But the other thing about social media is too, you know how a lot of people say the people that you see the most, like these social influencers, they're not making a lot of money. They're just more seen. The ones that only got 200 followers, that might be doing New York Fashion Week, or might be doing top movies, that got sweatpants on and cut up t-shirts every single day, and they hair in the bun because they've been working. Those are the ones that's making the money, the coins. It's not, I'm not saying they're not making the money, but the influencers are the ones that just are pushing the product of another brand, and they might get paid $1,000 here, $1,500 there. More people that got millions of followers get paid more, because it's based on your following and engagement. But the real coin makers is like the Danessa Marks, the Scott Barnes, the even other people that's just working on sets or movies. Even my field, I'm more on the political side of things. So I do news and TV. I'm not doing like commercials and things like that. But even that side, people don't know that's a pretty coin, like a pretty good coin that you don't necessarily, people don't really tap into. And that's why when I mentor, I always ask like, what type of makeup do you want to do? Because there's so many different rims. Like, do you want to be an influencer? Do you want to do commercials? Do you want to work on a movie set? Like, I would never want to work on a movie set. That's just something I know. I don't want to sit 22 hours a day working on a movie set. So
touching them up throughout.
And then it's like with movies, you dedicate so much of your time, meaning you might be in Italy for 4 months at a time, then you come back because they shooting somewhere else. You might be in Chicago this time, like, and you're so much away from family. Yes, it's an amazing opportunity, networking and seeing your family, but I mean, and not seeing your family will probably be my biggest like no. That's important. I get to go home every day after I leave. I might work 12, 13-hour days, but I get to go home every day, and I don't always have to say yes. Like, and that's what I love about the news too, because you can say, I don't want to work today. I want to take off for a month and go travel the world, and you're able to do it.
That's nice.
Defining what success means for you before your journey, and then maybe redefining success in your journey is important. So it sounds like success for you is being able to spend time with your family, being able to do what you love, and make money. So
having that flexibility. And that's what a lot of people, I think, our age, we're looking for. Unlike other generations, we're looking for the ability to do what we love, and spend time with those that we love, and not be stuck to a desk. That's one thing I'm not loving about my job, because I do work at a desk. I want to be able to see other people and talk to other people. I'm sure you've been doing makeup, and I know you're supposed to sit still sometimes, especially when they're doing your lips and stuff, but I know you have conversations with the people and you hear some really good stories and you meet a lot of people and you network. So that I know helps build your brand. And how important, when did you start really focusing on the actual branding of your business, of you, because you are your business?
Honestly, not until about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Really?
Like, I got into, when I first started for the news, it was more so just trying to find my way. Because even though I was doing makeup, I was working at a counter and I was still unhappy. So it was still trying to find that, who am I and what do I love to wake up to in the morning? I wasn't, even though it was makeup, I wasn't loving waking up and going to a counter. So I was still unhappy. Like, it was still moments of being unhappy, and really like branding myself and seeing myself as the makeup artist. It was probably maybe 2 years ago.
Okay. And what did you do when you started that journey? Did you consult with like a marketing team? Did you come up with a logo? Like what was your process?
So my process was, one, talking to myself to figure out what I wanted and how did I want to push that narrative. And two, I reached out to my now publicist. I had a sit down conversation with her. How can we formulate my story? Because like when I sat down with her, she was like, okay, what can you give me to work with? And at that time, I'm like, I'm a makeup artist. And she was like, so is 1,000 other people. Like, what's your story? So when I started to formulate that and just being authentic to me and transparent in my journey, then I could start branding myself as, mostly I brand myself, I'm very transparent in my journey. Like, this is who I am. And it's going to be losses, failures along the way, but how do you continue to thrive? And then on top of that, bringing in a product that in my journey that I can sell or promote and say, I've done this for X amount of years. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know what the industry probably needs at the moment. So you always have to have you and your story, and then what sells you and your story. And she really helped me. And we're still like, every day you're learning about yourself and every day you're formulating your story. So she's still helping me through that process too.
Awesome. How did you find the publicist?
Actually, like you said, when you start being in different circles and networking, a guy from TV1, they would they were coming to the studio sometimes, and I was just randomly talking, and we kind of became friends. And I was like, let me just reach out and see if he knows anybody. And he shot me, I think, 2 people, and me and her was the one that connected, because I interviewed probably 7 different publicists before I settled on her. And with her, it was like, she's allowing me to be me, because a lot of publicists I sat down with, they're like, oh, you need to get on YouTube and post videos and do faces and post this. And I'm just like, but that's not me. Like, that's not my story. That's not my journey. I don't want to sit in front of a camera and teach you how to do eyeliner. Like, I don't mind mentorship, but that's not me. I don't want to cut up videos and post them and stuff like that. I admire those people that do that, but it's not me. And she allowed me to be me. And we're sorority sisters too at the end of the day. So that kind of played a big part. And she just allowed me to be me.
I love that. I do. Because you really, it helps you. I feel like it helps you to grow and it helps you to thrive when you're able to be who you really truly are. And going like to the music industry, I know K Michelle, I know she used to always talk about, she wanted to country sing, she wanted to yodel, and she didn't. She didn't like that they wouldn't let her do that. They only wanted to hear one sound. And it seems like, I don't know if she's dropped an album since she talked about that, but she seemed so much happier in the studio when she was just country music yodeling. So I do like that you found somebody that is allowing you to be you. and is respecting your journey and helping and watching you grow your journey and just supporting it
Yeah,
in
I
the
think
way that it needs
sometimes
to be done.
we get so accustomed to how other people perceive us instead of saying, even if I don't have 100K followers, this is me. Like, and somebody likes it. Somebody's gonna love you for just being you. You don't have to be what the industry of whatever industry you're in, what they say that you should be or what they say that you should be doing. Because I think that's where we get lost at. And then down the line, you like, well, I was happy at one point doing makeup, but now I just hate it. You hate it because you allowed somebody else to tell you who you are.
Right. So I have another quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get into makeup, but not like do makeup. I mean, do my own, like for Sierra. And I have been dibbling and dabbling in a lot of different, like lipstick is my new thing. Lip gloss, lipsticks. As soon as I go buy one, I get in the car, open the visor up, boom, boom, boom. I got to
and
see.
try it on.
Because you can't try it on in the store. So I got to try it on like immediately. It's really, really, really bad. But I've recently started to love Lip Bar and mainly the Lip Bar. I like Mented as well. But can you tell us I'm looking for a fiery orangish color right now. But can you tell us some makeups that have really good pigment for our skins, and but that can also, for those who may have troubled skin, not clog it or cause more breakouts? Because I know a lot of people wear makeup because they're trying to cover up blemishes, but then it makes it worse and it might make their skin more oily. So what are some products or some things they can do to their skin before they even put on any product that can help
So
with that?
skin, eyes, or lip, or
Well,
everything.
I personally, I just want some lip as far as like what brands, what's gonna pop on me. But for the
So
people who
I like, honestly, I like, you said like a reddish orange.
yeah, like a burnt orange is what I'm
I
thinking.
I love MAC. It's called Feel So Grand. No, Fashion Legacy. That's the reddish orange. It's called Fashion Legacy, but it's a matte. So I don't know if you like matte lips or you want something more like satiny, creamy. But I like that one from MAC. I also like Juvia's Place products when it comes to like eyeshadow pigmentation. I also like Cover FX when it comes to their foundations, and especially for like sensitive skin. Makeup Forever, they have really good pigmentation. Eyeshadows, they have really good foundations, eyeliners, and Stila has a really good liquid matte lipsticks. NARS have really good long lasting lipsticks, and believe it or not, Sephora brand, like
Okay.
the Sephora brand products are really good. Tarte for like eyebrow pencils. Tarte has become my new favorite for eyebrow pencils.
Tarte.
Yeah, Tarte.
Oh,
And
Tarte.
yeah, I'm trying to think of some other.
Every single brand you just named.
You
Huh?
what?
I said I must love makeup because I know every single brand you just.
I don't.
Yeah, and honestly, okay, so
I know
very
Tarte.
transparent moment. I'm a beauty supply store girl for my own stuff. And it's like, it's a brand called Ruby Kiss. And it's a brand called I think it's called Nikki. Nikki, I believe. Love their eyebrow pencils. And Absolute has like a contour and highlight palette that this is what I did my makeup with. But that's when I want something like super natural. I'm not really going nowhere. I'm not trying to like do anything over the top. I go to my beauty supply store, like brands.
There too sometimes, but let me go. You said Nikki. Okay, I'm gonna look at that.
I think it's Nikki, but it's their BB cream foundation. That's what I have on right now. And then I just use that Absolute contour palette, and that's like my quick natural face. It probably takes me less than 5 minutes. It's like a straight BB cream, especially if you, but it's really, it has a really good coverage too. So even if you do have like some blemish marks or anything like that, it will cover them really good.
Really.
Another question to the point of lipstick. I'm really putting on red lipstick is a little hard for me. And when I do wear, so I can mix colors together. I typically buy like the same colors. I don't know why. And if I don't like something, I'm good with like, oh, I can wear a gloss or that, like anything like that. But putting on a red lipstick and trying.
Are you lining your lip first?
Sometimes.
You gotta line your lip with a red lipstick. Because are you doing a liquid matte, or are you doing like just a regular lipstick?
Liquid matte. And I do have
I would line your lip first. Like literally when I say line your entire lip, like line it to the point where your whole lip is kind of lined, and then start at the center of your lip and start to blend out the color. Okay. That's the way that it won't bleed out, because if you try to, especially sometimes MAC brushes, they have like this spongy pointed tip where you could kind of like line your lip with it, but still if you have too much on a brush, it will kind of like bleed out. So I always go in, especially for my clients, like I always go in with a liner, really line it, really define, blend it out, and then start at the corner, because a lot of people, when you do their lips, the first thing that they want to do when you say blotch your lip, they go like this. Yeah. And then all the lipstick, because it's liquid, it starts to spread. So if you start at the center and you start pressing your lip together, that liquid is going to start spreading out nicely. And then you already have like your defined lip with the liner that you already want, like how you want your lips to be lined.
Okay, I'm going to try that, because I sometimes stay away from like that type of lipstick when I'm going out to brunch or somewhere, just because I'm like, oh, this is too high maintenance.
Because it bleeds out. But and then once it dries, it's set into place. But all liquid mattes is not like that. I know Morphe has some liquid mattes, but I don't like liquid mattes that start to like peel in your inner, like, and if anybody out there knows, DM me because I have not found a liquid matte that I truly love other than MAC. Like other than Stila and MAC and Sephora, I will say those liquid mattes that I can get away with, but MAC is like my go-to. And I'd be tired of giving them my coins, but the liquid mattes they can have. And it lasts so long. It lasts a long, long time because you don't need a lot.
That's what's up. I hope, ladies, if you didn't get all of those tips, please rewind about a good 2 minutes and listen to all the names that she just dropped, because she is a professional. Listen to this professional right here. Go get those products, try them out. Everyone's skin is different, so it may or may not work for you, may not be what you feeling, but I recommend you go ahead and try that out. So we've talked about makeup, we talked about your journey, but you're not just makeup. You do other things. You are a SME to the hair. I tried to do something with my hair this morning because I'm like,
it looked good.
Girl, look. I wrapped it and I put the little clips, but I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I was like, what is this hanging? Oh no, it done came all out. So then I quickly I do this thing where I put a little headband on and then I wrap my hair around it. And I sleep on it, but I didn't do that last night. So I tried to do it real quick and the curls ain't stay. But anyway, I wanted to look pretty for you. I even put in some nice earrings. Look at this. Yes, I did.
I had those earrings.
You do? I got
that. I think I got it from like Misguided or something like that.
I got mine from Amazon. I got like 5 different colors. But anyway, I try to look pretty for you. I wanted my hair to be together. So I have worn wigs. I am a wig. I will do wigs. I haven't done them. I actually did. I did one a cute couple episodes ago. Dang, I just told my business. But I did a couple episodes ago because I took my braids out and I needed my hair to look decent. It was a last minute situation of recording. But I can't do lace front wigs because I have sensitive skin, right? So the front, wherever the lace touches, and maybe I'm just getting cheap ones, IDK, but it makes my skin just itch so bad. Tell us the magic of hair. Like, tell us.
Because I don't wear wigs.
I think for you, like and you have to try out different ones, but you probably want to get a thinner lace, and you probably want to put some skin protectant around your hairline before you let that lace sit onto your skin. Because you probably have even the thicker lace ones for me, when I used to buy the wigs out the beauty supply store, they're just too thick and they just itch. You probably don't have sensitive skin. It's probably because the lace is too thick and it's just itchy, because those like thick lace wigs is just itchy. And then the more you start scratching, the more you're going to mess up your hairline, because it is irritating your hairline.
We need our
and that's in a skin protectant, and it's like a liquid that you just it kind of look like it's coming out like alcohol, and you just put it around there, let it dry, and then sit it on. And then also, if you really do think that you have sensitive skin, I would do like a no glue, no gel, no type of thing, just like a one that you can just pull on and off.
That's what I did. It was just a regular one on and
But
off.
how thick was the lace? It was thick. Yeah.
I don't remember it being thick. I just know that it's like it itches. But I think wigs, the best part about them is you can change with your mood. So if I'm tired of this, I can just go long and black. My friend has a long red one with blunt red bangs. I was like, oh, that's cute on her. I would go do it, wear it a day, toss it. Not toss it.
I
like
would even show you. I got a wig sitting right here.
Let me see your wig, girl.
You want the lace to be like really thin. Like, you know how some lace it's thick, like, and it's hard. You see how movable it is and how stretchy it is. The more stretchy the lace is, the more quality of the lace it is.
I don't think any of mine ever stretched.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not going to be a stretch like stretch jean stretch, but you should be able to stretch it, and it's very thin. Like, literally, if I hold it up, you probably look like you can see right through it.
Well, next time I buy a good one, I'm going to come through and be like, sis, I'll give you coins so you can install.
Yeah. And send me a picture before you buy it so I can be like, no.
Put that back.
Put that back, sis.
Since I've never worn wigs before, and I'm kind of cheap. How much, if I go to the beauty supply store today and I want to purchase a wig that I might not wear, like, should I pay like $50? Should I pay $100? Do I look for a certain, like, what do you call it? For the hair, type of hair?
This is me being very biased. I would never purchase a wig from a beauty supply store.
Oh, girl, okay.
But if you must, I would look for like a Indian Remy virgin type of hair, and making sure that that lace is very, very thin. But I haven't been in the beauty supply store to look at wigs in a long time, probably maybe 7, 8 years. Around that time, beauty supply store wigs was like $250 then. So I'm more than sure those wigs have gone up. And right now, because of COVID, China and producing wigs and all of that stuff, wigs are very expensive. Like, wigs have gone up to $700, $800 right now. But for a new beginner, I will say start with the cheap wigs. Just make sure it's 100% human hair. I'm not going to tell you to get a virgin, a Brazilian, or anything like that, because it's not the type that you're wearing every single day. So for you just to get a feel of what wigs is, how to wear it, you might come home and rip the lace. But if that thing was only $50, you're good. Yeah. Like, you don't feel like you just lost so much money. Even it's a lot of wig groups on Facebook that girls make wigs and sell them, so you can actually see the wig in action, or they post it and you're not getting gypped from these wiglustery.com, and they showing you all these hair that look bomb, and then you get it and it look like you got something that was supposed to be for Halloween costume. So I would say, like, join one of those groups, see what other girls are like making, and those wigs probably they'll sell something for $110, $120 or something like that. But I wouldn't spend it. If you're not a wig wearer, don't spend a lot of money right now.
Right.
At all.
Yeah. It's good advice. Thank you.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something while you was talking. So you said that you have been into and knowledgeable about the wig industry way before they even became the thing to do. So you probably look at these people like, come on now, sis. I was there 15 years ago. You just now getting on. It's everywhere. Like you really cannot tell. Some of these wigs, I be like, I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling, they pop up. I'm like, whoa, that's a wig, and they'll move it, and they got the baby edges and all of that. I'm like, I feel bad for these guys sometimes because you just never know what's
And the
under the wig.
crazy part about it is I was in the industry, like beginning in the industry when people was like, oh, that screen door. You know, like people was calling them screen doors, or I would
Wigs?
never, yes. It used to be like memes on social media was like these girls out here with screen door parts and this and that. And I'm just like, I love that I got to really witness the evolution of lace wigs and not just saying, oh, only actresses or celebrities were wearing for, you know, a red carpet event or Broadway plays and things like that. Like literally lace wigs wasn't even thought about, I would say, on in the social world when I started dibbing and dabbing in lace wigs. I would literally every 2 weeks get on a train, go to New York, a girl would do my hair, and literally she stopped answering the phone. And that's why I started to take control over, okay, what's a good lace wig company to buy from? How do I do this? How do I apply it? How do like, and then as my skill set started to develop, I just stayed in it. And I never really talked about it. The crazy part, I just never talked about it until I was just like, I really like this. And I see where the industry can go, what type of things that the industry still needs, especially these young, I would say lace wig enthusiasts, they need help in. And some things, you know how you see like it's a lot of stuff still staying the same, meaning techniques, but the industry is growing, so the techniques have to evolve with the industry that's growing. But yeah, I used to get on a train every 2 weeks, go to New York, get my hair done by this girl, and she literally just stopped answering the phone. And I think it got to the point where she didn't think that I was that involved or loved it that much that I wouldn't be hitting her up every 2 weeks like, girl, you available this weekend? And I was probably taking up her weekends. That's probably what it was.
She's like, I cannot, I need some time to myself.
Exactly. And then I just learned how to do it on my own. But at that time, it was no such thing as plucking and bleaching knots and natural hairlines. That stuff came years later. So you talking about a wig that was like box cut on the head. It was like whatever hairline that you got, that's what you going onto your head. And now it's just like it has transitioned to applying makeup, or somebody came out with lace tint and things like that to make it match your skin tone. So it's like it's growing so much. And I'm just like, I love that I got to start in the beginning. And now just like I want to now be involved in the history of where it's going.
So where do you see it going next? Not too detailed, but like, what do you think is going to be the next big swing in hair?
I really think that where it is right now is where it's going to continue to grow from, making the wig look as natural as possible. So it might be something where it might not be a lace anymore, but something a little bit more skin like, but still thin enough that it will evolve that way. Because a lot of people, what they mindset is, how can I make this look as natural as possible?
Right.
So you already conquered like the plucking the hairline to make the hairline look like this. You already conquered, okay, this lace needs to be a certain color to match skin tone. Like they recently came out with, and it's probably been out for a little while now, like HD lace. And HD lace back basically is the thinnest lace possible. And if I was to put it on my skin right now, it would be sitting right here and you would not know. But for the hairs to grow out, for the hairs that they tie into it, it just looked like it's growing out of your scalp. So I think they're going to continue to perfect how can you make it look as natural as possible. But I also think that it's going to grow to the point where it's going to be easier for the everyday women to achieve it. And that's kind of like where I'm trying to segue into making the history of, is making it easy as possible for the everyday person, because one, lace wigs are already expensive itself, and then people capitalize on the application of lace wigs, and to get a lace wig applied by itself can be $250. Because you're talking about customization. It's people time to sit there and pluck hair after hair out to create a hairline, or bleach the knots and do certain things. So, I mean, because even I charge $150 just to pluck it and put it on. It could be a 3-hour, almost 4-hour process for some people. So it's for not just throwing on a wig, like not just saying, oh, I like this, but really actually getting it done to the point, I'm going out of town, I might be swimming in it, I might be doing this, I need it to be laid. But I think it's going to go into making sure that the everyday woman is able to accomplish the same desired look as salon, and also just making the process easier and not so much.
Okay. I think that makes sense, because everyday people like us, we want to look like the
The
stars,
Beyonces.
the Beyonces. I love Portia Williams. It's the last name. Yeah, her collection. She got wig after wig after wig. I'm like, girl, if I could just give me 2 minutes in your closet, your wig closet. Just let me grab 3 wigs.
But even like how you talk about it now, like, oh, I love your wigs, and people put it on in front of the camera now. Like, wigs used to be something that we used to hide in the back of a closet, or I don't wear no wigs, or I don't wear wigs. Now it's just become like a pocketbook. Like, this is just a fashion statement, and that's what it should have been all along. Like, you shouldn't have to feel like I have to hide me wearing a wig or having lots of wigs because somebody else might think it's funny or whatever. And another industry is like alopecia and cancer patients. That's those wigs, I lie to you not, $15,000 plus just for a wig.
What?
And the I don't want don't mark my words for it, but I want to say the Jew I think it's Jews, like they have to wear wigs when they get married.
Oh, okay.
It's a covering. Right. I think it's Jews, like they have to wear wigs when they get married. It's a covering for them. So when they go out and about, they spend, I watched a whole documentary on this. They spend $15,000 to $20,000 plus for a wig. One, because they said that it's so hard for them to find donors for their type of hair texture, that the wigs, it's kind of like a mobster like a wig industry. Like, they're making a killing just for a wig, but when they come in a house, of course they take it off at the door, but before they leave, they are to cover their heads. But it was just like, you know how like Muslims, they cover their heads with like a scarf. It was not crazy, I don't want to use that word, but it was enlightening to me that they use wigs for that. So the history of just wigs in general is just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and like you said, like the first person I knew who wore a wig was my grandma. So, when you think of wigs, you think of, you put a
Yeah.
wig.
The little shortcuts,
And then,
looking like a wig.
yeah,
Exactly.
Crooked half the time.
the the gray heads that was like curled, like real tight, coily, or had a little swoop right here.
Yes.
And then lace wigs, the first person, I don't know her, Beyonce, like looking back on it all that time, I didn't know those were wigs, but you see pictures, you're like, dang, she had wigs, lace wigs way back when.
And until it started coming out in like tabloids with, I know you know the famous picture of, they have like a circle right here and you can see like the demarcation of the lace wig and the glue. And then other celebrities, it was like, oh girl, your lace wig is pushing back or
It's
something like
sliding
that.
back.
So right. So now I think people, especially in the hair industry, they started to see like, how can I bring this to salons or allow everyday people to come in? But like I said, I think it's going to really transition into DIY at home. And how can I get that? So like most things, like bleaching hair or doing anything, and they come out with a comb with the color already in it. You could do your own highlights at home or a cap or whatever like that. So I think the lace wig industry is going that route of DIY.
Speaking of DIY and being at home, I know COVID directly impacted you in being able to go to work and do the makeup of the different people that your clients. How have you been coping with COVID in your business?
I'm kind of just gotten to the point where I'm just like allowing God to just allow whatever happens, but it was a journey. Like at first it was a woosah moment, like, oh my God, I don't have to go as much. Y'all take y'all time. Like y'all take y'all time with this COVID thing. You tell me I need to stay in the house, I can stay in the house, because waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning to be to work at 3, it once you able to sit down, it's just like but then I think like 4 months went past and I'm just like, okay, like summertime's here. I'm ready to get back to work. And then you notice nothing's still not happening. Then 6 months, 8 months. Now we're in 10 months. And I think I got to that moment of creative depression. Not really depression of being home, but the depression of not being able to do what I love. And I might have had like 1 or 2 clients here and there come into the house, but it was still not feeling comfortable in the space. So and then it transitioned, I would say at the latter part of last year, that I was just like, okay, this is where I'm at. How am I going to use where I'm at to my benefit? Like, am I going to start my own company? Am I going to like perfect my skill set of the things that I might feel like I lack in? Like, take this time to be a better you. And when I started to again do self-reflection on me, I started to think of things like, how can I use my time wisely? And then a whole different spark took on. And now I'm just like, now I'm online 24/7. By the time I look up, the sun is setting. So I now have a different love of the journey. And I think at some point it will all come back together for a greater good. But I'm still not back at work. And we still don't know when we're going back to work. So, but it's not to sit in and waddle in that of not being where I want to be, because it might be something else that God's like, okay, this is where I want you right now, and this is what I need you to do, and then we can bring both of them back together. If it happens, if it happens. If it don't, it don't. But at least I got something else to carry on.
Right. So you're working on something. We're not going to get into too many details. Like the world is going to know, the world is going to go out and purchase, buy, support. But what I wanted you to do, to talk about next, is just the journey of getting to a point where you are not letting, I don't want to say failures, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like you're trying to get something off the ground and you have this spark, you have this drive, you're spending money, you're not seeing anything. Can you guys tell us like a really quick overview of how the past few months have been with your new product, and then give everybody like kind of like a word of wisdom from your what you've learned so far?
So the project started with the idea of me not being able to do makeup anymore, and people were say, oh, can you put on my lace wig, can you do this? Or I would be out and my hair be done and be like, oh, who did your hair? Me. Like, I don't know. So I started to think in the makeup world, I was thinking, how can I fit in and bring something to the market that might be a need? And then I realized, like, I know different needs within the lace wig industry. Like, I know people would come to me and say, girl, this don't work, or this happened, or I'm looking at YouTube videos and X, Y, and Z, and every single YouTube video is this is an issue. So I started to think, how can I correct this issue, and how can I help somebody else? One, produce faster. For salon owners, it's how can you produce wigs faster? And two, for the everyday women, how can you not be afraid to DIY at home? And so I came up with this product, and I started to reach out to chemists, inventors, creators within the like the chemistry field. I kind of got connected with this one girl, interview a lot. So it wasn't like, oh, I didn't do my due diligence. Interview this one girl, and she's like, girl, that's easy. We can definitely bring something to the market. And I'm excited. I'm pumped. Like, I'm doing all my research that I need to do. I'm starting, I paid one girl $5,000 to build a website. I'm taking marketing classes. I'm talking to my publicist. We're talking to magazines, because how we kind of wanted to pitch the whole thing was, I would be the first the first person ever to ever bring something like this to the market. There's nothing like it on the market. And so we're pitching to different magazines, or formulating, a pitch story. And then it seemed like every single week I would reach out to this girl and I would say, hey, what's going on with this? Or how can we make this better? This isn't working. Okay, you sent this, and other things that I won't like really go into detail. But I started to get, every single week, I started to get more and more discouraged, because it's like, you pump me up to the point you're saying, this is easy. This is something that you can do. When I interviewed her, she was very familiar with the lace wig industry. She's worked with other brands that brought different products to the lace wig industry. And then it got to the point where I knew I had to part ways. But I got also discouraged, because I was like, yo, I feel like a failure. And I really had to take a step back and say, just because this didn't work doesn't mean that the next person that I attach myself to can bring something even bigger and better. So sometimes we look at situations that we go in as failures. We classify them as failures when it's just lessons learned. Like, now I know to go in and ask more questions, or to make sure that the contract has, I need a follow-up call every Monday if that is necessary, or I need to see videos, I need to see pictures, I need to see X, Y, and Z. I would say the beauty in everything is, I think that she knew she wasn't able to deliver. And she reached out to me and she gave me my full, not only did I have to pay $5,000 to the chemist, the website designer, I also had to pay $5,000 to the chemist. So she ended up giving me my deposit back. So I was able to take that on to the next journey. And I end up, which now I'm in the process of reaching out to other chemists to see if they can take on the project. But I think the beauty in the whole story is really everything don't work. And we tell ourselves that we start things and like, oh, this gonna be bomb, this gonna be this. And when you fail, then you don't want somebody to fail. Lesson. Right. I like to classify lesson, but when you fail, you don't want somebody else to say, I knew you couldn't, because social media has taught us, don't allow nobody to, do this to your dreams. You go out here and you achieve. But what happens, like, where's the stories when you don't achieve? Where's the stories where just because I failed in this is the reason why I achieved in this? Somewhere else. Where's those stories? And that's why, because at first I was like, nobody really knew other than 2-3 people other than my mother and father, knew what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But I was like, do I put this story out there and just give my transparency moment? Or am I like everybody else that say the failure goes to the grave with me and nobody else know? And it's so many people out there that they see things as failures and they're too afraid to speak on it. Mm-hmm. So it's lessons.
That's why I had to reach out to you, because I feel like you were just so upfront and you kept it real. So you had to come on the real play, but like you kept it real with the world. Like, this is what's happening. You didn't tell all the details, because of course parts you do keep it to yourself. Someone might steal the idea and get it out before you don't tell all that, but you are you're not doing I'm just going to post on social media all of my wins. Mm-hmm. You posted a lesson that's leading to your bigger win later on. So I really thank you for continually being transparent, for coming on here and, telling us your story, giving us the tips, honey. I do have one more. We can do this off, but like, I need that waterline situation with the lipstick. We can talk about that later, but, cause I can't, but yes, I do thank you for everything that you said. I know that there's people out here, a lot of our listeners, about, 55%, if I double check on the app, I can be for sure, but 55% are women. So we're all about, not all of us, but a lot of us do care about how we look, how our makeup looks, how our hair looks. Mm-hmm. It makes you, how you see yourself in the mirror sometimes tells you how you feel about yourself. Like, if you have a bad hair day, your whole day gonna be jacked up. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just me, but if something out of place, you just be like, dang,
I'm not going anywhere, actually.
I don't want to do nothing. Right. But if your hair is popping, your lips is popping, you put your lashes on straight for once, like Ebony said, you're gonna find somewhere to go. Exactly. So yeah, I think that the fact that you are helping people feel beautiful at your job using your passion, I admire that so much.
Thank you.
I wish I could jump out and do that. I's not ready. But
you will one day.
I need to sit down and go back to my childhood, like you said, and what made me happy. And I know the things that make me happy. We'll just see where that can go. But yeah, your story is just so great. I'm sure we're going to get some more makeup questions. We're going to get some more business type questions from this episode. I don't know if I'm just seeming too excited, but I was excited when I reached out to you earlier this week and you said yes. I was like, Saturday? You're like, yeah, I got something you are still doing things because you have an event that you have to do makeup for today. So we got this out the way so you can prep your mind, your artistic mind, and have these.
Yeah, I still have clients here and there. If you watch my social media, like, I don't really post that I'm doing clients, I'm doing this, right. But I'm still doing stuff. It's just I'm not at work right now.
You're not the regular job. Yeah. Still making them coins.
Yeah,
that's all it's about.
It's the hustler in me.
You hustled up to New York every 2 weeks. We knew you was a hustler to get your hair done. Like, to spend money, you went 2 hours. there and then 2 hours back. So I know you're gonna hustle hard to get money. Okay. But anyways, Ebony, do you have any last questions
Um,
before?
I want to say thank you for your story, and like Sierra said, being transparent. Just because I feel like you dropped a lot of gems in what you said. A lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. A lot of people are watching social media. A lot of people don't know where to start, how to start, and then when they do start, how that looks too. So thank you for coming on and sharing your journey with us. I don't think I have any last minute questions. I think I just thought of three, but I'll
No
Well,
questions,
thank
but
you,
here's three.
ladies, for definitely having me. We can definitely I think my client comes at 2:30, so we can definitely do a sidebar after this and just talk. But yes, thank you for really having me, because this actually gives me a space to say that I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. For you to even reach out to me, it gives me validation to say I'm not doing something wrong. Like, people do see me and people do want to hear my story, because sometimes you don't need the validation, but sometimes when you do get it, you can say, okay, keep going. So thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I definitely appreciate you, ladies, and hopefully we can connect again.
We can, we will. But before you leave, can you tell the people how they can connect with you directly on social media?
So it's JMB_artistry. And it's it's JMB_artistry. Because I just changed it recently. So at first it was JMB artistry, but the underscore between the JMB. So JMB artistry.
Okay. Well, thank you again for coming. We appreciate your time.
Thank
Enjoy your
you.
day and continue to make magic happen. Black girl magic right here.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to the Real Play podcast, and we will see you next time. Bye.